Now, it's not often that I make a dedicated review on a Mercedes-AMG vehicle, but with the introduction of the new GLC 63 SE Performance, yes, that's its full and long name, I kind of had to, because traditionally AMGs have always been V6s and V8s and even in some cases V12s, but this one right here is none of those. So you might be thinking, is it a true AMG? Well, that's what I want to find out today, and yes, we do get to take it for a drive as well. So no, this one right here is a 2-litre 4-cylinder. Now make no mistake, this is no ordinary GLC. This is not to be confused with Mercedes GLC AMG line. The AMG line is just the kind of sporty trim you can get on like the 2 litres and the 3 litres and the plug-in hybrids. When it comes to a Mercedes AMG vehicle though, that's when it completely changes. So you have things like this new AMG grille on the front here, which has been on a lot of AMGs before, but that's what kind of just sets it apart. And I know there's a lot of people out there who wish they had this grille, but sadly it's officially only on the actual AMGs. Now the starting price is around £73,000 when you venture into the Mercedes-AMG world of things, so basically high performance engines. However, they can go up to an eye-watering £130,000. This is with the SE Performance and of course if you go for the Edition. Now this one I have here is around the £122,000 mark with a few options. But why is it so much money? Well, this is quite interesting, so we're going to get onto this later in the video, but they have quite literally Formula One technology in this. So the engine that's in this is a plug-in hybrid, believe it or not, but the plug-in hybrid is not to kind of like offset your local driving and do it on electric. No, it's purely to make the car go faster, and you're paying for the cutting edge. So we will get onto those engine stats and performance later. One other thing as well, I should also add, you can get this in a coupe variant as well. So this is basically where the roof slopes down at the back. Obviously the SUV version is the one I have here today. But yes, as I said, the AMG grille is of course the main thing that sets it apart. And if you look really closely, there's various different styling elements to kind of enhance that AMG experience even further. I mean, even look on the sides here, you've got all this kind of airflow being channeled around to the side. And speaking of, around to the side, we have these gorgeous wheels. So these wheels basically are unique only to Mercedes-AMG vehicles, and they're kind of like cross-spoke forged 21-inch wheels, and they really do look the part, especially on this one, because this one has what looks to be some form of like night package, which I believe is on Premium Plus, which you can obviously choose with trim. So again, I don't always go through specs too much just because it can vary around the world, but this colour combo is amazing. You've got the lighter colour paintwork, and then of course the variations with the black trims all the way around the side here, and of course these black wheels with red brake calipers. Now, of course, very quickly cover the dimensions, and then we'll head towards the rear of the car, where again it looks extremely sporty. So, dimensions: length 4,749mm, width 2,076mm, and height 1,635. Now, when it comes to the rear of the car, of course, you're reminded about all these AMG elements. So things like the AMG badge, and even the GLC badge over on the right-hand side there has elements of red right around the outside. Now, of course, you have the spoiler as well, which you wouldn't traditionally have on a normal GLC. And let's not forget the actual real exhausts for a start, but the AMG Performance exhaust system, just to make that engine sound amazing as it possibly can be, considering, as I said, it is a 2-litre. Now, when it comes to the boot is a very respectable 470 litres, kind of as you see here. But if you do fold the seats down, it will go up to over 1,500 litres as well. So obviously don't forget, this is a dedicated SUV. It just has all that cutting edge performance tech. Now, speaking of, because of that performance tech, you'll notice here, although there isn't a boot lip as such, there is a small step that kind of goes up here like this. So that's obviously where the kind of hybrid high voltage systems are that can propel the car even faster down the road. But there is a tiny bit of underfloor storage space as well, literally just under here. It is very, very small. I'm not sure what you'd put in there, but yeah, there is a really, really small amount of space there just in case. Cool. Rear seats. Right, and guys, so rear seats in a GLC AMG. So yeah, loads of space. Now, traditionally with GLCs, I'm quite a huge fan of GLCs because they can fit 5 of me quite comfortably in here. It's quite a spacious car, and even with these racing seats as well. And oh look, there's even holes under here for ventilation. Front, you could poke the driver's back and his shoulders too. But yeah, they're very, very sporty seats. But yeah, joking aside, I'd say there's loads of room, as always in a GLC. I could move that seat a little bit more further forward. That's just me having it quite far back as I normally would, obviously have my long legs. But yeah, otherwise, headroom's good as well. I can get 4 3 to 4 fingers above my head, which is pretty cool. In this particular car, there's quad zone climate control and 2 USB-C ports down there, glowing blue, very nice. Also, I'd imagine you have Mercedes cup holders in here. Would you press it again? There's a cup holder. There we go, or 2 cup holders, should I say. So yeah, all around traditional Mercedes in the back. In terms of like build quality, you'll find that all the leather squidgy materials are up here as well. There's very few plastics in a car like this. You could say that this bit's plastic here on the back, but this isn't something your hand's going to touch, so not the end of the world. But apart from that, yeah, nice squidgy materials here. Even on the back, the seat is finished in like some kind of firm leather, but even still, this is plastic as well here. So yeah, that bit there and that bit there, but that's it. Again, plastics aren't a bad thing, just pointing them out for build quality, but yeah, it's going to be top notch in this. Right, let's have a look at the front where all this gadgetry happens. So yes, up front in the Mercedes GLC, everything will look very, very similar to the standard GLC, so things like the vertical portrait screen just here. But if you delve a little bit closer and look, you'll notice that there's like carbon fibre effects here and very sporty AMG steering wheel with these AMG specific dials, which you can only find on AMG versions of cars. So this is how you can change your mode and make the exhaust louder, suspension adjustments and all sorts of things. So yeah, I'll definitely be playing with those on the drive in a minute. But yeah, even different paddles as well, very clearly marking the down and up. Yeah, and it's all very, very nice. All these AMG upgrades everywhere. Of course, the seats as well, because those definitely do stand out. Now, yes, they are firmer than a traditional GLC, but you kind of want that on the level of performance that this car has. So yeah, they are slightly firmer, but they do hug you extremely well. And I imagine there's a few settings in here with lumbar adjustment and things like that you can tweak as well. So quick tour around the front then, shall we? So over here we have a boot kind of release just in the door here. Of course, windows and mirrors, heated seats and memory seats on this particular car. Then we move on to over here where there's a light cluster. All pretty much standard Mercedes things as you'd come to expect. Over in the middle, we have a little bit of storage in here with 2 USB-C ports just in there. And then in here, we have another oh no, there's 2 USB-C ports in there as well. So that's 4 literally here, another 2 there. So 6 USB-C ports, wireless charging there and cup holders. And of course, glove box, nice big glove box in there with various factory delivery notes and things, because this car is still quite new. And then we can turn our attention to the multimedia systems. So yes, as I mentioned, this is a vertical portrait screen which Mercedes have. So let me pop the ignition on so we have all the functions available. You'll notice you'll have the climate control down here on the bottom of the screen. So yes, all the climate control is literally just located on the bottom. Now it is very, very easy to use. You can literally just tap this up and down to control your temperature, and then you've got the fan speed and adjustments either side. The one good thing about this climate control is that it's fixed literally on the bottom here. So this menu never changes. So if you, I don't know, go to the home screen or something like that, or go on the phone menu or media menu, none of the climate control moves. It's always at the bottom of the screen. So you know exactly where it is. Just takes a bit of muscle memory to get used to it. It is touch though, so they're not physical buttons, obviously. But as I said, even if you turn the screen off, it remains fixed at the bottom. It never moves. Now I have walkthrough guides on this multimedia system, which actually I think total about an hour. So if you want to know everything there is to know about this multimedia system, I'll link that up above and of course in the description down below as well. But yeah, that's like for owners if you want to know every single option. And of course I regularly put out Mercedes tutorials as well. So if you want to check those out, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And of course, I like to cover the latest Mercedes-Benz reviews as well. Now, Mercedes have a couple of options that you can choose with this multimedia system. So you can have what they call zero layer, which is basically like a very clever system using, I guess it might even be artificial intelligence that kind of predicts what you're going to do. So if I arrive at home every day and open the boot, it might say, hey, do you want to open the boot? And you can tap the boot and it will just open. It just helps save a couple of seconds here and there and a few minutes here and there, saves you typing in things like, I don't know, if you navigate to a place every day, it'll suggest that to you at the same time every day. So it's quite clever. Now, if you don't like that and want the traditional kind of layout, hold the home button and then you can go to classic. And then it's the kind of traditional thing where you go into a menu to control things and then you go back and then phone and back and so forth like that. believe it or not, you can actually have profiles on this multimedia system for up to several different drivers. I think it's about 6 or 7, so these are called co-users. So yes, you just tap on here and add all these different users, and it saves various different things from your radio presets, sat-nav presets, equalizer for the sound on the radio, on the multimedia system. So there's all sorts of things, and including ambient lighting, so it just makes it a lot more personal. Last thing on the multimedia system before we move over to the instrument cluster just here, there is also a voice assistant as well. So you can talk to it and literally say, "Hey Mercedes,
how can I help?"
And you can give her commands like that. Now I don't believe this car is connected to the internet at the moment, so it might not work to the best of its capability. But I also did release a video recently where I kind of covered the top "Hey Mercedes" commands. I thought I was about to do it then. But yeah, if you want to see that, I'll link that up above as well. And of course, description down below for that one as well. Right. Instrument cluster time. Okay, now when it comes to the instrument cluster, of course you get all these nice AMG animations, you know, when you turn the car on and turn it off, which is pretty cool. But of course, when it comes to the steering wheel, this is all touch. Now, I have mixed feelings about the steering wheel because the steering wheel, I have this exact same one, well, almost the exact same one in my car. So the steering wheel in my car basically has these kind of top part touch elements here. But I don't sadly have the AMG bits because obviously that's only for AMGs. But the reason why I have mixed feelings is because it is all touch. So if you're not a fan of touch buttons, it is obviously something just to try out and see how you get along with. But I do love the design of the steering wheel. It looks so cool, so sporty with these kind of twin spokes coming off. And of course, to top it off, there's these AMG buttons down here as well, where you can control various different things from suspension, exhaust, gearbox, and of course all your drive modes. But yes, it is all touch. You do hear a click as you swipe through things, so obviously that's pretty cool. And having said that, with the actual instrument cluster, there's loads of different themes on here you can do. So you can even do a thing called track pace, and it shows you all of the miles an hour speeds, how much you're pressing the accelerator pedal, G-force readings. Then after that, you've got things like super sport, so very kind of sporty dials there where the orange glows and looks like fire as you drive around. A sport view that looks a bit like this. Then there's classic, which you'd find on virtually any Mercedes these days. Understated, so to keep the dials as minimalistic as possible. And then of course, sat navs. You can put the sat nav over here as well, make it full screen. And then if you're lucky enough to have the driving assistance package, you can have some driving assist elements on here as well. Well, I think we should start it up right now. Let's go for it. No sound on the outside because it's a hybrid. Oh no, we'll start the engine. Well, that sounds sporty. So first things first then guys, what I'm going to do is just quickly swing back to my house, quickly pop this on charge just to give it as maximum power as possible, because I'll explain more about the battery system in a second. But yeah, just going to quickly charge it up so I've got maximum power. I can really test this out on my usual test drive route. Okay, so I've been driving around just a little bit, just on the normal kind of setup, so in comfort mode and battery hold, because there's different hybrid modes. So what I thought I'd do is test out its performance with a charged up battery and just see how all of this plug-in hybrid tech makes it that much faster. I mean, it's been pretty punchy so far, but all I've done is like about 20 to 30% throttle. You don't need much for a car like this because it literally pulls enough as it is. But let's put this into its sport mode. Oh, there we go, getting a bit more lively. I'm just going to ease off the throttle a bit and just make sure the road's nice and clear, and we'll give it a launch, a rolling launch onto the dual carriageway. Okay, here we go. Oh my god, that is 70. That is fast. And weirdly, the AMG exhaust popping and crackling at the back that element of it sounds like the V8. Now, let's put this back into comfort mode just for a minute. Now, I should explain this. If you're looking at this car, expecting the engine to sound like a V8, you will be disappointed, because it's not. There's no getting around it, it's not a V8 engine, so it's not going to sound like that, but it sounds like the SL43 2 litre, which is in there. But the performance exhaust has the popples and crackles from the GLC 63 before, because that sounded literally the same. So it's an interesting kind of take. I mean, I get it, the world is transitioning over to EVs very, very slowly but surely, and in doing so, engine displacements, engine litres have to come down in size. I mean, this is quick. So obviously the one I have here is the SE Performance, which is the really, really fast one. The one with Formula 1 technology. Well, to be honest, there's a lot of Formula 1 technology that goes into Mercedes-Benz, but this is the one that has the really fast hybrid system, and you really notice the difference when you put it in Sport Plus and launch yourself down the road. I'm sure we'll do it again in a minute. But yeah, so there are a couple of different types of engines. There's a GLC 43 AMG. This is 2 litre, 421 horsepower. Then there's a GLC 63 SE Performance, which is the one I'm driving right now. This is 476 horsepower. And then on top of that, you have 204 horsepower from the electric motor. Now, normally hybrid systems have like, I don't know, maybe 100 or so horsepower. That's what a normal plug-in hybrid is for. But what this does is just literally make the car go faster. Like making, I guess, compensating for the lower displacement of the engine. And yeah, it's not slow. Anyone who's got GLC 63 previously and you're looking at this, well, you won't be disappointed in the performance, because it's very fast. It's faster than the one before, for sure. This one, 0 to 62 in 3.5 seconds. Its top speed is like over 170 miles an hour. This is mad. I mean, obviously in the UK we can only do 70, and on track I guess you can go a little bit faster, but yeah, you're not going to be maxing this out that often, because it does not take long to get to the speed limit. So could you daily this car? Well, yeah, you could. I think that's kind of what it's designed for. It's a GLC, you know, it's a very practical SUV, so you could. You just have that insane amount of power to just go with it as well. It's what Mercedes do very well. They make very nice, luxurious SUVs, but then if you want to, and yes, it does come at quite a bit of a price, but if you want to, you can couple that with some of the latest hybrid tech that literally just makes you go faster. I'm going to put this back in Sport Plus again. I'm going to go down here, my favourite road. Could definitely have fun in this. I'm going to try a bit of the old manual. I can feel the front of the car almost lift up because it's so like powerful. It's obviously the battery's going to be in the back, so there's going to be a bit more weight in the back. It won't be too much though, because the battery's not too big. Okay, here we go. That is brutal fast. I mean, yeah, it's not a V8, but wow. Going with this expecting it to be a V8, as I said, and you will be disappointed, but yeah, it did not sound good. Whew. Wow guys, what an incredible machine. Now, is it a true AMG? That is the question. Now, I think it personally is. I know it's only a 2 litre, but that hybrid performance tech in it is insane. So I'm curious to see your thoughts. Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you're thinking about test driving one, just go ahead and do it. Make sure you test drive one. Let me know what the test drive was like in the comment section down below. Now, just to end, I'd like to thank Sandown Mercedes for supplying this car so I can make this review video for you, because it would be very tricky for me to do it without them. So again, as always, thank you so much to them. See you next time, guys. Take care.